Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of This About That. We got a little bit of a change up tonight. T. Lou has come down with something, so Diego has filled in the role
Yeah,
here, and
yeah.
we're how we
T.
doing,
Lewis,
Diego?
T. Lewis come down with a case of the Vegas.
Yes, case of the Vegas. Went out to watch his team. Uh, we won't speak on the results. He didn't seem too happy. Closet doors, beware. Um, but glad to have you on, Diego. Thank you for being here,
Excited,
man.
excited to be here. Excited to talk some ball. Excited to talk some sports and topics I don't usually get to talk about on
Yeah,
my show.
I'm
So this is gonna be a good
pretty
time.
pumped. Yeah. So we're just gonna kind of get right into it. Had a lot of good college football and NFL this last weekend. As you all know, I'm an Oklahoma fan. And
Yeah,
yeah, that was a
yeah. I mean, you say a lot of good college football. I mean, we're just starting with some bad college football.
we're gonna
Team
we're
voicing. What
yeah.
happened? What happened? I mean, watching it. I mean, Quinn Ewers, he hit the "We hit the boom" dance in the end zone. I mean, that's
Yeah,
just
that was
spitting
a
in the
tough
face
one to
of a man who's
watch.
already down. I mean,
I first thing I
what's
saw as
wrong
soon as
with
I
it?
opened up Instagram, first thing was him doing the boom dance, and I was like, "We're good, good."
Dude, the boom dance. So you explain to me what happened, because to me it just looked
Oh,
like the same incompetence on offense for Oklahoma and Texas just having a high-powered offense themselves. It doesn't matter how good Oklahoma's defense is.
it. Yeah, you kind of hit it on the head there, man. Going into this game, I had a little bit delusion. I'm like, man, I feel like we can get a gritty win here. It's always a close one with them in most instances every year in the Red River. Going into this game, we are so beat up on offense and just very inexperienced and young at this point. You have two starters out on the offensive line. There's about 5 to 6 wide receivers out. Deion Burks and Jalil Farouk. I think that's how you say his name. I always mispronounce it. I mean, those guys are those guys are it. Jalil, like that guy is money at the receiver position. Deion Burks has been good, and just losing all that. I mean, you lose 6 wide receivers. I mean, I looked at the list; it was like 5 or 6 wide receivers. You lose
Dude, they were
that,
bad.
and you mix in a kid who is getting his second start ever as a freshman.
That's a tough second start.
Very
100-degree day in Dallas.
horrible second start, and it's just like you're going into this game, and he's a very athletic kid. He doesn't have really his arm under him yet, and I would say his instincts. Instincts or pocket awareness, as I would say. But you mix in, you look at the first quarter. I mean, Oklahoma's defense. I'll say it right here, right now. I think we have a pretty damn good defense,
I'll tell you,
and
man. That game looks a little different if that fumble goes out the back of the end zone.
I'm
That is the
I'm
key
telling
play that
you,
flips it, because it was a 10-point game at that point, and that
mhm,
touchdown made it a 17-point game. Oklahoma gets the ball, you never know what happens. They go down the field and kick a field goal, one score game. Hey, this is just
exactly.
what ifs. Hey, I mean,
No,
what
sure.
ifs? I mean, hey, look, everyone's a winner. If a bicycle had a third wheel, it'd be a tricycle. So it's just these things, like you can't play the what if game. But I'm going to, Cody. What if, because I think we're seeing a problem for the Oklahoma offense, it does stem to quarterback play. Jackson Arnold, not the guy that they thought they were going to have, or at least he's not there yet. They have to play this young kid. Missing, and I gave Dylan Gabriel a lot of shit because I think he's overrated. He's still a very good QB. This
He had
Oklahoma
a
team
hell of
with
a
Dylan
game against.
Gabriel.
Yep,
As I tell you, if Dylan Gabriel is on this Oklahoma team,
I think it
it,
would
it,
be
it's
a.
different for you guys. Maybe a one-loss team.
See, the thing is that you mix in. So having the amount of injuries that they have, and I try not to make that excuse because I'm always like next man up, next man up. But it's really, really evident when you're watching the Oklahoma offense operate, and they cannot complete a pass. And it's at that point, it's like you're putting in these guys that are not normally in this position. They're not getting the spotlight. They're not getting this many reps. And then you mix in a QB that is still kind of getting his legs under him. And like I said, he's very athletic, but the pocket awareness, and I believe just having the inexperience we have on the wide receivers right now, they can't get open. They got locked up. Texas defense is
that
pretty
Texas
damn
defense looks
legit.
good. I mean,
Their secondary is pretty amazing.
They were supposed to take it down there. I mean, last thing I'll say about Texas is that they were supposed to have a down year on that defense. And, they lose those two inside guys to the draft. I think Sweat and someone else. And the Texas looks really good. I feel like an idiot because in my postseason predictions, I didn't have them. Although subject to change, people forget I had Florida State in at 11, subject to change. So alternate pick. Have Texas in now at 11, but it's looking like they're going to be the one. I mean, they're the number one team in the country, in my opinion, and it's starting to become evident that it might not be close. Because you just run down that list of teams that are in that top 10. Like Oregon's going to be number 2. I mean, you saw Boise State take Oregon to the limits. I mean, Oregon elite team, but they have some holes. Ohio State, you saw them. I mean, we'll talk about that probably after this. Yeah. Ohio State, elite team, has some holes. Alabama, I mean, they got Kalen DeBoer, who people on Twitter need to relax.
He's going to find a dead dog in the mailbox. It's getting to that point. Zooch might be right.
I'll tell you, man, if he would have lost to South Carolina, Cody.
Car on fire in his driveway.
Someone would have sent... It would have been a Criminal Minds episode, Cody. Someone would have sent a bomb in the mail. There would have been a Unabomber situation now.
Willie from Roll Tide would have been at his doorstep. That guy would have been leading the charge barefoot.
That guy would have risen.
Yes.
He would have risen from the grave to yell at Kalen DeBoer.
Yes.
Also, people, if you're not listening to the Feinbaum show, look, I'm not a Paul Feinbaum guy. Please just listen to the callers. Legend from Tuscaloosa, all-time character. Please give it a listen. But yeah, Cody, Texas looks like the number one team. There's not.
Yeah, I'm telling you,
close. Georgia maybe, but like even they look like they have some holes.
It's the thing is, me and my dad were talking about the OU game, and my dad's like, Texas gives Georgia a run for their money. Nobody's stopping them. I was just like, I 100% agree. That team is firing on all cylinders, and I hate to say it about Steve Sarkisian, that. God, I can't stand looking at his face.
A lot of sparkling waters for that guy.
A lot of sparkling
booze.
Waters.
Get that guy away from the swish.
Yes.
Get that guy.
Yes. Dirty old swish.
Yeah.
Dude, keep him off the swish. Keep him on the sparkling waters, and he'll be fine. But yeah, yet again, it's going to be a long season for the Sooners, and it really it burns me up saying this because Venables got that defense ready for the SEC. I mean, if we are filing on all cylinders, which we did that first quarter, we shut Texas down. That offense didn't do anything. I mean, our defensive line is such a pleasure to watch. All of them. Ethan Downs, Tajon Terry. I mean, it's just across the board, dude. And then you got Mason on the edge, dude. And it's just they cause havoc, man. And that's what they did. They got sacks that first quarter. They got pressures. You got Danny Stutzman, who's arguably one of the better linebackers in the country. Billy Bowman leading the charge at safety. And then you got Jennings as well as DB. I mean, our defense is one of the best, I think, in the SEC. But our offense, when you can't and this is where Venables fucked up. My dad's like, he's a defensive-minded coach. You're going to have to give him some time. And I was just like, oh, you know what? No, guys will come to Oklahoma for offense. And it's just weird for me to say that our defense is so good, but our offense can't compensate. And when you start playing a team like Texas and they're going 3 and out, we get an interception, 3 and out, sack, boom. And our offense is not doing anything. Eventually they're going to score. And then it's like we're going to live and die by our defense, and that's just so bad for me to say because our offense has always been at top.
Yeah.
And you got so many holes, so many young players, so many injuries that our offense. I mean, it's going to be a long season. It's going to be a long season.
It definitely could be. I mean,
we got South Carolina next week. I mean, I don't know, dude.
Gamer ball, you never know. In Columbia or in. Is it in Columbia or is it in or is it at Gaylord Stadium?
I believe it's in Gaylord Stadium. Where is it at? When do they play? Did I have this wrong? Oh, maybe they have a bye this weekend. It's next.
Fair.
I don't know. But yeah, like I said, I don't know about the Sooners. I loved how Michael Hawkins played against Auburn. Comeback win, did what he needed to do for the win. at Auburn, not a great team, but I mean, you turn around, you play fucking Texas in the Red
Auburn
River.
is another fan base I'm keeping a close eye on. They are also
Yep. They're on the watch list.
Auburn fans are also on the watch list.
Yep.
Another fan base, two fan bases that are also on my watch list is actually they played this weekend, Cody. It's the Oregon Ohio State game, the other big game.
Yes.
At least the other big game that we're going to touch on. That was the opposite of the Red River game. That was college football manifest.
That was
in that
at
game.
its finest.
That rocked.
32-31 Oregon.
You had defensive plays, offensive plays, college kids messing up, people getting ejected for spitting in people's faces. Like, what is going on? And it just ends with the inevitable, a Ryan Day choke job. Just
a Ryan
amazing.
Day choke job. Can't nail it on the head any better than that.
Cody, I saw a tweet, and
he does it every time.
It just made me chuckle. And
Big games.
Said Ryan Day is the Michael Jordan of James Franklin's.
Oh, dude. That is so bad.
And that is the
that
truest
is so
thing
bad.
Ever. I was listening to
the
Mostly Sports podcast this morning. Another great sports podcast. Go ahead and listen to it. Mark Titus, Ohio State guy, Brandon Walker, college football guy. They talk a lot about just all sports. And he was saying, when you look at the Ryan Day era at Ohio State, it's interesting to see like every single one of his losses, except for maybe the Purdue loss. It's like, oh, well, that makes sense. It's a fluky loss, or hey, they're playing a good team. But when you look at it in totality, it's like, why does he keep losing these games? It's like every single game, like even this game, you're like, oh, like they lost to a top 5 team on the road. Like, of course, like that loss makes sense. But when these losses start to pile up at a school like Ohio State, people start to get restless. And honestly, if he needs to beat Michigan and make a national championship.
Yep.
And if he doesn't do that, I think he's literally like officially hot seat, like natty or bust for him in 2025.
Dude, he's like Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion. In the comparison of
I think he's even worse though, Cody, because at least Shanahan built the Niners from poo. Ryan Day inherited a Ferrari, man. I mean, we can talk all we want about our boy Stinky Finger Herb, but that guy built a good program at Ohio State, man. When he wasn't shoving his finger up, and kicking kickers in the head at practice and letting felonies be committed within his team. He was a pretty damn good coach, but also just great on Big Noon Kickoff, man. Oh my gosh, his little color changing shades every time it gets me. Herb on Big Noon Kickoff. But yeah, he inherited a good program from Herb, and it's like you have natty appearances, but he doesn't have that national championship, and that's what you're always striving for at Ohio State.
And I'm telling you right now, dude, I remember that God, who was that old South Carolina coach that went on and said Ryan Day is soft and Ohio State is soft and they're not good? What was that heading into the Notre Dame? I love Lou Holtz. I just love that. Dude.
Yeah,
he's
Mr.
nailing it on the head. He's
him.
Thinking right now, he's like, oh man, my predict because he was hating on.
Lou Holtz doesn't think anything. He has the symbol monkeys going on in his brain at all times. That guy.
Dude, that guy's got to be 90.
I mean, he's a sweetheart, but I mean, him and Lee Corso. And I'm glad Lou Holtz kind of has got off TV, but he's starting to sneak back in. It's just like, dude, your past is done. You were a great coach, but like you just have old man moments, and like it just pains me to see them on TV. Like,
I get it.
Same thing with Lee Corso. Like that guy, they're working him like a dog, man. They got to get that guy off TV.
Yeah, dude. Isn't he the one who yelled at the Yale Harvard kid?
All time quote.
It's
oh
great.
My gosh. You see Herb Street's face. He goes like, "What?" And he's like, Herb Street's like, "What are you talking about?"
He's like, "Shut up, midget."
Yeah, dude, it's just, I mean, Lee Corso, another one of these guys that's just awesome, but it's like, dude, like, maybe, like, show up for, like, a couple times a year, show up for the Rose Bowl, love that, but, like, I don't need to see Lee Corso, like, every week. Like,
no, I get that, yeah. He's a once in a while type of guy I'd like to see in the morning 100%. On College Game Day. But, yeah, Ohio State, I also agree. I mean, this guy's got to win a natty. I think he's always had, like you said, an amazing program. Ohio State's a highly scouted program. A lot of guys go there, a lot of high recruits. He has the keys to the castle, and he can't get it done in the big games. And now he is going to Purdue. He is going to Purdue.
Oregon goes to Purdue. Oregon is getting their first taste
yes,
of
it was
ranked
Oregon.
Purdue.
I thought it was Ohio State that was going to Purdue.
No, Oregon's getting their first taste of Friday night Purdue as a top 5 team. That's where
and you know what happens.
Top 10 teams
Diego.
go to die. It's night
they
games
go to
at
die.
Purdue.
Yes, and I'm telling you right now,
Purdue, they turn it on, man.
And then they play Northwestern tough the next week. So it's just ridiculous, dude.
Yes,
they always show up. The Boilermakers always show up when they're playing the best team in the nation, and I cannot wait. For some reason I thought it was Ohio State, and I literally just read it like a few hours ago. It was Oregon, but yeah, dude. I think Oregon's losing that game. I'm going to put my
short week. I mean, Dan Lanning.
I'm putting my foot down. I think Purdue's gonna. They always play teams tough at that place, dude. Every top program that goes there is a. I don't know what it is.
State, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, like all these teams have come and lost to Purdue. The interesting thing is Dan Lanning is a guy who, like Ryan Day, people have questioned winning the big one. And if it wasn't for a brain dead slide by Will Howard, also that could be the idiot play of the year. Just like that whole sequence from Ohio State, just could be the idiot play of the year. Was that Will Howard slide? I mean, I see what he was trying to do, but it's like,
what do they have? 5 seconds, 7 seconds left and a timeout?
I mean, even like a coach, and that's why Ryan Day gets criticized. It's like, you got to coach your guys to know better. You have to. You got to
coach your guys to know better, and you also need to. If you were, what were they at, the 50?
Yeah, you got to.
It's like, what are you
just
doing?
Just get 5 yards and attempt a long field goal. Yeah.
And I was so pissed when I saw that. I was like, what are you doing sending these dudes down the field, man? You get into field goal range, get these 10-yard outs, these 5-yard outs, and get them out of bounds. Give your kicker a shot. You could win the ball game. College football kickers are never known to really hit the clutch, except for that Missouri kicker last year. Or was it Kansas State? No, I think it was Missouri. 63-yarder, dude. He won it at the end of the game. It was like the SEC record. He drilled it. But most guys that are college football kickers, they cannot do it in the clutch. But still, what are you saying?
This guy, Ole Miss blew it again with a kick, but I'm saving that for Zooch. That's that man was in shambles. Zooch, Team Zooch.
And it's just like, Day, man. I mean, like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, as a coach, you need to know like where you're at on the field, the timeouts. You get a quick 5-yard out. You're giving your kicker a chance, and you just send these guys downfield hoping for a Hail Mary. What are you doing, man? On the road, you had a chance at winning the game.
That's where the Ryan Day criticism comes, and it's just
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I mean, he's been there almost 10 years, and it's like Ohio State fans are getting restless. They're kind of like the Alabama fans of the Big Ten, and it's like, especially now, I think it's even more restless. Last thing I'll say about this is seeing Michigan win a natty. Like, if Michigan doesn't win a natty, I think Ryan Day is not feeling the heat. When your rival wins a natty and it's beat you, 2 straight times or 3 straight times, you start to be like, dude. Oh shit, like we gotta win something. We gotta win something.
That's the game you have to win as a coach. I mean,
if they don't beat Michigan this year, because Michigan's got me playing. I mean,
they got a guy that's running the ball 95% of the time. They got a backyard football player back there, dude.
They have a running back playing quarterback, and then their other quarterback is a guy that they picked up who was playing intramurals like the year before. I mean, walk-on guy. I mean, but it's just like Michigan needs QB. They suck. They suck this year.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm going to say that, and I'm saying that because this is Tyler's show too. He's a Michigan fan, so I'm going to say for the first time ever on This About That, first time ever by someone not named Cody, Michigan sucks. The This About That podcast supports Michigan sucking. Definitely, permanently. So people who are listening, just know This About That, not a Michigan podcast. Wink, wink. Just at least until Tyler comes back.
And go back like I said, dude, there is so much shake up in college football recently, and I am ecstatic to know that I think Boise State really has a shot. I think with how a lot of these games is planned out and all the upsets that we've had, I like our chances going into the playoffs, except for facing one team. There's one team I don't want to see in the playoffs. Everybody else, I'm like, you know what? I think
you don't want to see Alabama, or you don't want to see Georgia.
I would rather see those guys than seeing Texas air raid fucking football.
I mean, I don't think we'll play.
Texas, I don't know if we'll.
You just gotta hope Texas
seen,
gets the bye. Do you think there's a scenario where Texas undefeated going into the SEC championship game, they blow it and get the 5 seed, and then whoever that group of 5 teams got to fly down to Austin, Texas?
Exactly. And I'm seeing more and more of these guys coming out with Texas being at that spot where Boise State's going to take them on. And that is the one team I don't, because I love our team. Our secondary is where we are going to lose football games. They are ranked like 126th or 128th in the nation. I mean, dude, number 1 for Utah State. I was there live, Diego. That kid had an NFL prospect game against our secondary. Number 1 for Utah State was huge. He had a game that's going to get him drafted. Was that game?
The defense looks better this year, but it doesn't look great. The Boise State, they actually do one thing well, or a couple things. They stop the run okay. They're okay at stopping the run, and they rush the passer. The issue is when they don't get pressure, it is just chunk plays. So they rely. It is like a chicken and the egg with Boise State, I feel like, because it's like the way they generate pressure is by blitzing. When they blitz, they put their corners in a bad situation, but they get pressure. Because when they don't blitz, they don't get to the quarterback, and then their people can't cover anyway. So it's like, might as well blitz, then you get there sometimes. But I don't care. I mean, I like what Boise State. I think you got to win out though, because Army and Navy still undefeated. That would be crazy. If
you got Iowa State and BYU still undefeated. You got Indiana, who's still undefeated somehow, some way.
Kurt Signetti, baby.
The winner, dude.
Man. Good coach.
He wins.
Dude, he called the shot before the year too.
He did.
He called the shot. He was like, "I've won everywhere I've been. Why would it be?
That's why I'm here." And I'm like, I like his
Indiana
confidence
too.
I know of all
Indiana,
teams,
you can drop your nuts like that. I love that. I love just getting uber confident at Indiana.
Exactly, and I see them they can win out and potentially make that playoff run too. And I don't know. Indiana's asleep. They're one of those teams also like Purdue where sometimes teams go into Hoosier Stadium and they die. There has been times
they do, but Indiana, just like Purdue, Cody, is one of those teams where it's like, man, did you just lose to Maryland at 9 a.m.? What are we doing? Like,
oh shit, you had a 17-17 game against Illinois.
Yeah, that's the classic. Yes,
it's not even noon yet.
The 17-17 game, and it's on like FS1. You're like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing here? Each team has 100+ yards in the ground, but
that was a good college football talk. A lot happening, and we got a big weekend coming up this weekend, Cody. A couple other good matchups.
Yeah,
Tennessee, Alabama, Georgia, Texas. I mean, those are the two.
We have a lot of good football coming up, and I'm excited. I have one more team that I want to cover just real quick that's kind of getting my attention. It's a Big 12 team, and that is the Arizona State Sun Devils.
They have Cam Schrader 2.0 on their team.
Dude.
Cody Schrager 2.0.
Scattaboo. And I knew you were going to bring up the Cam Schrader comparison because he is almost just like Cam Schrader, but just bigger.
Dude, I think he's better. I think Scattaboo's better.
He's better.
I think Scattaboo's better.
The thing with Scattaboo is he has speed and yards after contact. Schrader was good, but he was a utility guy. He went and blocked. He had all different type of things. Feet dipped in everywhere. But Scattaboo, dude, he's just an all-out workhorse, dude. I mean, he had 158 yards.
Sac State. Sac State was like one of his own. He only had a couple D1 offers, so he decided to stay home at Sac State.
Yeah.
And who's the guy? It's Kenny Dillingham is the coach. Is it Kenny Dillingham, the coach at ASU? He took over a real bad situation when Herm Edwards left. They had scandals. And you remember last year they had a self-imposed bowl ban his first year. He had a really bad situation. And he's they're 3 wins or 4 wins. And Arizona State, I think, is another one of these sleeping giant schools. It is by student population, a top 5 school in the U.S. It is huge. There's so many Arizona State students and alumni. That's also a school that has more money than I think people think. It's not managed very well, but it's got potential at that school. You're in a big market. You're in Phoenix. I think Arizona State, kind of like a UCLA or USC, it's just kind of been very lackadaisical in their athletics
Mhm.
approach, and I think this whole Pac-12 moving thing and COVID kind of like lit a fire under all their asses. And Kenny Dillingham is a guy who loves Arizona State guy. So I mean, you
Yeah,
still got to be worried about that guy leaving for a bigger job, though.
sure. And they just knocked off 16th ranked Utah. Big win for that program. They're 5-1 now.
Don't even get me started on
But
Utah. Don't. Did you
Utah,
hear the news
yeah, we
today?
can.
Did you hear the news today?
I
So
certainly did.
we are recording this October 14th. This will come out in a couple days, Cody. This will be
It'll
out
be out
when.
tomorrow, probably tomorrow sometime.
Yeah, so people will have heard this. Cam Rising, for those who aren't aware, old quarterback at Utah. He is out for the year. However, since he only played in 4 games, he is eligible for a medical red shirt to play next year.
He's
Um,
turning 40 next year
if he
also.
played next year, it would be his 8th year of college football. And if that happens, I'm going to run my head into a wall on camera. And I'm putting this in. I'm literally saying this on a recording, so I have it like in a clip. You can clip this. I don't care. If Cam Rising starts a game next year, there will be a video of me. Maybe I wear a helmet, but I'm going to run into a wall full speed.
You heard it here, folks.
I just can't do it with this guy, man. This is not the sport I love, and I do think Cam Rising, he needs to stay in football. Like, I can see like he's a good quarterback, but it's like at some point, I mean, Cody, you know this, got to hang him up, man. And it sucks, but it's like I can't.
8 years. He's going to be. I think
This guy
he's
came into
our age.
college
I
with
think
me. He came
he's
into
24,
college with us,
25.
Cody.
Yes.
He's high school class of 2028. CJ Stroud, who's already in his second NFL season, played Cam Rising in high school when CJ Stroud was a junior, played Cam Rising when he was a senior.
That's just wild to me. And just like you said, it gets to the point where it is time to hang up the cleats. It's time to go get a job.
Dude, go into coaching or something. If you love being around the game, yeah.
Coach, and maybe, who knows? Maybe he'll get his shot. I don't think he could be anything in the NFL. Bouncing around, journey guy. Playing for 13 different teams.
Yeah, I heard there's some plenty QB spots in Edmonton and Vancouver, maybe the CFL.
Plenty of guys playing up there, dude. But it's just Cam Rising. I think it's time. It's time to hang it up for him. And yeah, it's just I think it's a bad look. I'm like, dude, like, brother, we're like the same age, and I started playing football 5 years ago. And obviously he's way better than I am, and he had way more opportunity. But I'm like, dude, 8 years in college
8
football
years is a little bit much.
And I'll tell you, Diego, I experienced it at JUCO. There was guys in their 30s playing against me. I had guys in their late 20s playing on my team, and I'm just like, when is enough? Enough is enough. I am 18 years old, and you are 28, and you have 4 baby mamas and a bunch of kids. And I'm like, to each their own, but I'm like, it might be time to go get a job and support the family and stop running after a dream that's not there. We are playing JUCO football.
That's a good way to put it.
In California, if you're not getting any offers, man, it's time. It's time to go. Even if you are getting offers,
I had small offers. In a similar situation. He's his offers are the NFL in this situation to compare these, and it's like it does suck because after that first Rose Bowl, he did show flashes, and it's just injuries have derailed him, and it just. And I don't mind the graduate players, 5th year, 6th year. It's like when you start to get to the 7th, 8th year guys, it's like,
yeah,
it's hard for me to view these guys as college. With the NIL too, it's like this guy's getting paid money too. It's not just like, oh, I'm staying in school. It's like, no, these guys are getting paid and you're milking it. And I think we're going to start seeing this. These old guys who are supposed to be good and they stay around, and I'm going to call out some names here. Guys like Alan Bowman, guys
Oklahoma
like
State.
Peyton Thorne, guys like Cam Rising, guys like
Peyton Thorne's
that guy on Florida.
For Auburn.
Who's that guy on Florida?
Tight end. Isn't he a tight end, dude? Or Graham Hurts. Isn't he hurt now?
Guys like DJ Ugalele. It's like these guys who have been in college forever, who are using the COVID NIL graduate stuff, red
And
shirts. It's
Peyton
like
Thorne,
I think it's gonna flip back. It's like I noticed it a couple years ago. Coaches need to start realizing it's like, yeah, it's awesome. For every Dylan Gabriel, it's like there's another guy who it's like, maybe the reason why you're in college that long is because you can't go to the professional level. I don't know. I don't know.
it's just, yeah. And then Peyton Thorne, I keep forgetting he's their starting QB for Auburn, correct?
Yeah, he stinks.
And I remember talking to Zooch about this guy 3 or 4 years ago.
When he was at Michigan State.
Yes.
Michigan State, dude.
And I was just like, oh man, like he was gaining a little buzz there, and then like I didn't know what happened to him, and all of a sudden, Oklahoma, they have all the starting the lineups, and I was like, Peyton Thorne, that name sounds familiar. How long has he been in freaking college for?
I don't know,
and
man.
I don't know, man.
It's beyond me. I hope it self-corrects when like players start like it's been a couple years since players have stopped getting COVID editions because everyone got that free year during COVID.
Mhm.
That's just kind of creating this backlog of stuff. But we'll see.
Yeah. Moving on from college football, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFL here. Had a few good talking points in some games this last weekend. The one that really stood out to me was the Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys took an absolute beating on Sunday.
See, that was a good old Felton. That was a belt to ass, Cody. That was a wooden spoon over the table.
Dude, I watched that game through and through, and 47-9 loss to the Detroit Lions. Motor City Campbell came in and he took care of business. And this is not the first blowout that the Cowboys have been through. They had a 44-19 blowout against the Saints.
Struggling.
And it's like, okay, we start looking at McCarthy. Is he getting fired? I really think if they lose another game like this season, he's definitely gone. He's gone.
I think McCarthy's already done, unless he makes the Super Bowl, which is I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not going to.
He had his good days
I'm not going to put any absolutes till after October. Give me at least till the halfway point. But you got this fat Mike McCarthy, and I don't want to call him fat because I'm not making fun of his appearance, but his brain is fat. It's like he just it's just slow. It's just everything is slow, and they scapegoated Kellen Moore. Everyone in the Cowboys, they scapegoat so many people, and I think Mike McCarthy's going to become a scapegoat because it starts at the top, Cody. Jerry Jones, he's created a money-making business, not a football-winning business. In the last couple of years, I think people have started to pick up on it, and I think Cowboys fans themselves started to pick up on it.
I've known about Jerry Jones' behavior. That guy is a money-hungry goblin. He doesn't care about the Dallas Cowboys. He doesn't give a shit. He hasn't given a shit. They haven't made it past the wild card or the first round in I don't even know how long. They paid Dak Prescott all types of money. He went 17 for 38, 178 yards, and 2 interceptions. That is piss poor. That is what Oklahoma Hawkins Jr. just put up, and that I didn't even see that man throw the ball. Last week against Texas, he is horrible. Really I've said this before. Dak Prescott, besides the rookies and the number 2, like the year number 2 quarterbacks, he is the worst fucking starting quarterback in the NFL.
Can I toss out a little?
Not get his head out of his ass.
Can I toss out a little fan fiction for you, Cody?
Yes.
There's a certain free agent coach on the market right now who might be doing TV at ESPN right now. This guy, he's won a lot of Super Bowls. Up with the team in the Northeast. Belichick to the Cowboys.
Dude,
that would make must-watch TV. I'll tell you what, man. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'd be glued into every game. That would be cinema.
That would be...
I said, it's just a fan fiction. Not even saying that Bill Belichick probably doesn't want that job, but I think Jerry Jones, if he was smart, would suck up his pride, go...
The guy's got to do something.
This is what it is. I don't
it's
think
either that or get rid of him. God, that guy is the worst owner ever. I can't stand him.
You can't get rid of him. He owns the team.
I know, but he has too much. He has too much.
The reason why I think because there's 2 good coaches I think that are out on the market right now that don't have jobs: Mike Vrabel and Bill Belichick. Both coaches who I think would do really well in Dallas. The issue is those are 2 guys who want to do their own thing and want control. Jerry Jones is a control guy. He surrounds himself with yes men. He appointed his own son as general manager. He's a guy who likes to be like talking like within the players. Belichick and Vrabel don't fly that way. Bill Belichick, if Jerry Jones goes, hey, I think you should play this guy, and Belichick doesn't think so, Belichick's going to go tell that guy to F himself. Like, Belichick doesn't care. That's where I think it'd be interesting. But, Cowboys look bad, but, no, that's really no, not to slight the Lions in any way, because the Lions look really good, Cody.
Dude, they're
Lions
looking
look
great.
good.
Jared Goff went 18 for 25, 315 yards and 3 touchdowns. That is a almost like you can't really have a better game as a quarterback that Jared Goff did. He lit that Cowboys defense, that Cowboys secondary to smithereens. He lit them up.
And I want to show you some stats and some of the crazy stuff that Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson were pulling. So in this game, they tried throwing a touchdown pass to an offensive tackle, Taylor Decker, that got called back for illegal man downfield. They ran a hook and ladder play to Penei Sewell. I love that. Dan Skipper awesome. Run a route, offensive tackle.
Arkansas native, man.
And then they ran a flea flicker to Sam Laporta for a touchdown. All in one game. Just, I don't know. So you want to know what I think happened? I think offensive coordinator for the Lions, Ben Johnson, got him for that Cowboy job. I think he pulled out every stop in the book to show Jerry Jones, I'm your guy for next year. Because, this is a guy, Ben Johnson, had some interviews last offseason, decided to pull a DeMeco Ryans and say, I've risen really fast in these coaching talks. I'm going to stay another year, really hone my crafting because I don't feel like I'm ready. Really paid off for DeMeco, so I'm going to do the same thing. They both come from the same kind of Shanahan coaching tree. But that's why I think all those crazy shit was getting thrown around, because I think it was Ben Johnson job interview auditioning.
Yeah,
and that's not confirmed. That's just what I think.
No, yeah, I mean, it's just like I love how the Detroit's organization, how they just pull out every trick in the book. I love it. I love the ballsy play calls. I love the stuff that no other team is going to do, and I would say, like I said before, they had a little teaser last year. I think Detroit's coming, man, and I think it's going to be a hell of a season.
Although I think it just got a lot tougher for them.
It just got a lot tougher,
with Aidan Hutchinson. That's a wild. That was a wild one. They were showing that. They showed the It was. They showed the replay, and like I know it's gonna be bad because I'm like that. I just know how he falls. I'm like, oh, that's season ending, and I'm just expecting I'm expecting a knee buckle, like a pop, like like I've seen that, but it's like ugh. And when that leg starts to dangle, it's like, oh my goodness, like that's a clean break. And I was talking about this with a Lions fan, and we were kind of like debating. It's like, would it have been better for him to like tear an ACL or MCL? Because at least like with an MCL ACL, you can train it, and like a lot of like the getting better is like on you. Like a lot of that process is like your rehab. Like ain't no speeding up a bone break. Like dude, that was your bone breaks. Like you're just waiting. Like you're straight up.
That was
waiting.
So gnarly, and they said it was 6 to 8 months just to like get out of the damn boot or whatever they're going to give him. And I mean, just when you saw it, and it's just he got swung. Somebody came in, swung right, and that doesn't happen often. You're expecting somebody to fall on him weird. You're expecting him to step wrong. Not somebody coming swinging through with their shin and making direct. I mean, it was a clean break. It was nasty, dude. Prayers up for him. He is the heart and soul of that defense. Defense that is they're okay. They're okay. They had a great game, obviously, against the Cowboys. But, I mean, that guy right there, I mean, he brings the heat every game. And I love watching him at Michigan. He called his shots. He called his sacks. The guy was phenomenal, and he's been pretty damn good for Detroit up to this point. So,
yeah,
I don't know what does
it better, but it's going to be it's definitely a tough loss for the Lions.
No, yeah, definitely. But – yeah, moving on, I saw something that piqued my interest as well in the NFL. We're just going to kind of keep on rolling with those topics. But I saw a question or an article saying, should Tua make a comeback? And supposedly they got an answer from the head coach. He says, we're expected to see him in 2024.
I mean, it's one of those things where
it's time for him to be done. It's time for him to be done.
But it's not your decision to be made, because I think it is. I think you go first, and then I'll give my opinion on it.
Yeah, and what the hell? Damn Siri.
Even Siri's talking about like his opinion on Tua.
Freaking yapping over here, but I think it should be it's kind of one of those situations where it's time for him to hang him up. There's only so many times where you can fall down, and when you're doing the stuff what he does with his hands, like that is like the worst type of concussion you can get, and it's happened multiple times, and it doesn't get any better when you continue to play through it. I mean, he's had so many concussions, and dude, it's just not worth it. I know some guys are like, man, I want to win a Super Bowl. I got more to prove. I got better seasons ahead of me, but it's like, dude, how many times are you going to come back? Like, dude, this is a recipe for disaster if he keeps playing. Like, in his health beyond football, the amount of times and stories and things that you hear of the CTE really taking over with some of these guys that haven't even suffered this many concussions, ending their lives, going on a manic spiral.
I would find it like
getting arrested.
To see.
And I don't think it's a solid idea. I think it's time for him to move on from football.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I would love to know if he was being honest. Like, if we could get like a Wonder Woman lasso of truth and be like, before you got to Alabama, because did he have one at Alabama, or did he have any?
Oh, I think he had one at Alabama.
He had an
he took a shot one game. Was it a neck injury that he had?
I don't know. He had a major injury though at Alabama.
No, he did. I'm just trying to remember. I can't remember.
We could be wrong, but let's just assume he had one at Alabama, and then he's had 3 in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And most doctors say I think 5 is like the dangerous limit. Like, if you have 5, like, you're done with contact sports forever, kind of deal.
Well, that's not even counting the ones that. I mean,
yeah. So that's what I mean. He's had 3 to 4 confirmed bad ones, and
you're not looking at the confirmed.
That's not including high school.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. High school, all
like
those.
You said, the ones that aren't like full concussions, but just like bell rung ones where it's just like 2 seconds of like, whoa.
And then, you might be fine later on, or you're having the amount of times, and when I played college ball where I was like, yeah, I think I can keep playing. But, dude, I'm like seeing fucking stars. And I was like, maybe it probably wasn't the smartest idea, but I did it. But this is different. I think there's really no reason for him to continue to play football, because he takes one more, dude. That's like,
at some point it's going to become a bad look for the NFL. But they're in a spot where it's like, it's not the NFL. The NFL can't tell a guy he can't play. That's the thing. It's like it's almost like you have to view. I bet Tua kind of views it. It's like you're a fighter, like a boxer. Like, he knows what he's doing is unhealthy, but he loves it so much, and he's trying to provide for his family and change his life and his family's life, and he just loves it. But it's like, this is the tipping point, because like, at what point is too much? Part of me thinks it's like I think he is going to return. It's just so tough. I go back and forth, because I'm like, at one point, at one side, I want to tell him, or I think, hey, this is not good for your health. Someone has to step in and tell him no. On the other side, it's like, or like a league to tell someone that they can't, they have to stop playing. Like,
and for a fact
that is not like the NFL probably sees like that's not on the NFL. On the flip side, I would say it's going to reflect really poorly if Tua gets one more when he comes back. And because if he gets one more, the NFL is going to look really bad.
And you know damn well that head coach for Miami does not have the heart to tell that kid, his starting QB, like, the truth. You know damn well that in his mind he's thinking like, man, I don't think this is a good idea, but I don't think so, because
also the Dolphins. I mean, people joke about, hey, Tua's overrated. Like that Dolphins team goes from a playoff team to potentially a number one overall pick team with Tua out. I mean, they just look bad. They look
No,
really
yeah,
bad. Like Tua is essential to that team, so it's like that's why like he probably feels he has to get out there. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I I think if he was to come back, Cody, here's what I would do. I would sit out the rest of the year.
I would
I would
too.
sit out the rest of the year and get to the off season and really, make a decision. Don't rush
Yeah,
anything back. And it sucks because it'll kill the season for Miami. But if he does come back, that's what I would do. I'd sit out the rest of this year. Enjoy the
yeah.
season.
I agree because the other side is like, well, I mean, we're not making the decision for him. He decides to come back. I mean, we're just regular fans on Sunday watching fucking NFL football. We have no we have no say in what he does. And the thing is that if he does come back, I agree with you that I think it's time to sit out the season, mingle with some doctors, the family, really, really hammer this out and think about if this is the right decision to come back and play in the National
I mean,
Football
look,
League. And
yeah, I mean,
in
there's
my
going to be
opinion,
risk reward.
don't think it's a solid idea for the guy, but to each their own. And he's his own man, and obviously he's going to do what he thinks is best for himself and his family. But we'll see. Prayers up for him, and we'll see what happens. But moving on to our last topic here, we're going to move on to a little bit of MLB talk. Diego, I don't know if you've been
Oh, I've been
following
I've,
up
I've
with
been
the
locked in
MLB.
NLCS.
Heck
The
yeah.
American League. MLB's weird. It's like the last sport I feel like where you get like true like, oh, I'm an AL guy. It's like, oh no, I'm an
Mm-hmm.
NL guy, because it's like it's kind of like football where it's like NFC, AFC. Although football is all kind of like controlling, but like
Sure.
baseball's so regionalized that like you get true NL guys. So it's like I've been following the NLCS. I'm a Giants fan. Two division
Mm-hmm.
opponents just played. Padres Dodgers, great series. Wish the Padres won. Their bats just didn't wake up, and it's interesting in the NLCS because, in my opinion, you have easily the best roster in baseball with the Dodgers, even with their tough pitching situations that they've had. Some people say the Yankees are better. I think the Dodgers are the best roster in baseball, and they are playing what is the team of destiny. Tigers could be, you know, not the Tigers. Yeah, the no, not the Tigers. The Guardians. The Guardians could be like considered, but like I don't think so. I think the Mets are the team of destiny. So you have like the immovable for object, meaning the irresistible force, and it's tied 1-1. Grand slam today. Mets put it out of reach, and
I
we'll see.
think it's
See,
time for the
I
Mets
hope the
for
Mets
the
win. I
sake
hope the Mets
of.
win. Although if they lose, I mean the Frank the Tank meltdowns are just
I
incredible. That
was just
guy,
about to say
that guy
that
just loves the Mets.
for the sake of Frank the Tank's health and Troy's well-being, the Mets need one. The Mets do. I think
Yeah,
it
they
is
do.
time to bring a championship back to that city.
New York, yeah, they haven't won a championship since biggest city in
It's been
America
a while.
hasn't won a pro sporting championship since 2011. 2011. And technically, that is not a New York team. That's a team that plays in New Jersey with the New York Giants. Last time a New York City based team like plays in the state of New York won a national championship
Mm-hmm.
or a world championship was the 2009 Yankees. So, like you said, city in New York needs one. Although
I think
I
we do
definitely,
need one.
yeah,
I'd love to see
yeah, I,
Frank the Tank actually pop a smile, although his meltdowns are top tier. When you
I
see it, when
think,
you see him
I think
smiling
I'd love
happy, I'm
to,
like,
yeah, I think I'd like to see the Guardians win it more. I just don't think that's realistic. I mean, I was watching the game earlier. Yankees are up. I don't know what the score is now by the time this episode gets released, but the Yankees are loaded. I mean, I think that's the team that's coming out of the American League.
mm-hmm.
Judge, I think Stanton dropped a bomb right before I got on here, and they're loaded. Um, what would be interesting, I think, is if we got a Subway Series. I think a Subway Series would be cool because I've never seen it in my lifetime, or I guess I was 1 month old the last time there was a Subway Series in 2000. I don't know. Every time I think the Subway Series would be cool, I just think it would become, since I am a West Coast guy, I've been out here my whole life, I wouldn't care as much if I'm being
Mm-hmm.
honest. Like, I live in LA. I'm not a Dodger fan. I actually hate the effing Dodgers, but they like the city, it's buzzing. People give LA shit about being a bad sports town, man. Not with the Dodgers, man. Everyone here has been rocking their Dodger stuff, and
Oh,
where I'm
100%.
at's been buzzing. People have been watching the games. It's been interesting. So it's a win-win for me in the NLCS. I think it's a win-win either way. I think I like the four teams that are in it right now. Although cannot have a Dodgers championship. Dodgers cannot have it.
No, I get that. Who do you think is going to take the World Series this year?
Oh,
Who's winning
Dodgers.
that? Who's winning the
Oh,
cup?
I think it's gonna be the Dodgers. I think it's gonna be the Dodgers. Unfortunately,
I'm hoping
I
that's the Mets, man. That's the team.
same. That's the team I'm
I
rooting
would.
for too.
That's the team that I think everybody should be rooting for. Might not be the smartest move. I don't watch baseball too much, but I have seen Frank the Tank, a little bit of Troy stuff. Shout out Troy. Zuch keeping us updated with those Mets talks that he has with them. So I just would like to see the Mets win one. And I think it's shaken up to be quite the semifinal right now. And I think we're going to be going into a pretty good World Series either way.
Yeah,
And I'll probably be tuning in. I always tune into
Cleveland
the
hasn't
World
won
Series.
since the '40s either.
Yeah, it's been a long
Cleveland
time. I haven't seen
has a
their.
huge streak. I think
Yeah,
I think the Cleveland Guardians have like one of the longest streaks in baseball without a championship right now. Like they
I
literally
haven't
last one in the
seen them.
'40s.
You never see them like this far, really into the playoffs. And now that their names being brought up again, hopefully maybe they'll get a run at it. But I'll definitely be tuning into the World Series. I always do. I find that type of baseball pretty entertaining. And it's always, my favorite thing is just seeing home runs hit, dude, especially in those big games, dude. Guys just cracking homers. Nothing better. Even though, I'm not a huge baseball guy. I love watching it live. TV, it's a little bit hard. That's why I normally just tune into the World Series because, the fans are rocking. The atmosphere is loaded. And you just have the best baseball teams going at it. And it's just it's a fun sport to watch, especially at this time of year. So with that being said, I believe that is all we have today.
Dude, thank you
Yet
for having
again,
me
thank
on,
you.
man.
Yeah, dude, thank you for
That
being
was
on.
fun.
Yeah, we got to cover a good amount of stuff. We had a lot of good sports this past weekend. We have a lot of good stuff coming up. We'll probably end up starting to talk a little bit about some NHL stuff here for you guys with that ramping up with the season starting as of recent. And like we always say, like, subscribe, share. We're trying to blow up. We got a bunch of different shows. We got college football, Diego. We got NFL. We got NHL. We got some Boise State talk. We got it all. So tune in and go to our website and buy some merch, please.
I just got my shirt. Use the code,
Yep.
man.
Heck
Use it
yeah.
this about that code. Use the Zucha Wild code. You get 15% off. It drops it down
Yes.
with the standard settle down shirt with shipping is less than $30 with the code, which
You
I
heard it.
think is a pretty good price for an online order that you have to pay for shipping on. Less than $30 total with that code.
Yep.
Shipping included.
Hell
Very
of a
good,
deal.
very fair price, I think. Yeah.
Very
Great
fair
deal.
deal. Yeah. Yeah, go out and do that. Like, subscribe, share, laugh, comment, do all that good stuff. And we appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for having me
Peace.
on.